everyone, it's Erica back on the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel, and today we are going to look at the amazing Spring Wonder EAP. So if you haven't already seen the amazing Effortless Artistry Paper collection release, that is it. This is it. So you're going to want to go back and check out the rest of the videos, like the previous week's videos, because wowza. But, so this Spring Wonder set, if you are not into pre-colored images at all, you know, you can always use the stamp. There is coordinating stamps, die cuts, and the EAP. And the coordinating die cuts, as you can see on screen right now, actually have die cuts for the sentiments as well, which I think is brilliant. So, you know, I like that a little bit, where you can just cut out the sentiments and lay them up, or, you know, just kind of raise them with a little bit of foam tape or stack them so that you get that nice dimension and height. I like that a lot. And you will notice as well, like the die cut will not just cut out the wreath itself, it will cut out the middle as well. So you will get a true wreath. So I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to bring out the stencils that were released back in April of this year. And I'm going to use what has become my favorite, a very, very firm favorite, which is the Woven Wonder. Woven Wonder. So hard to say that for me. I don't know what it is, but we are going to use this fabulous stencil, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of ink blending today. So I'm going to do my usual trick of using a little bit of Post-it tape to secure my stencil to my piece of cardstock, and I do that basically by adding Post-it tape to just one side. Don't do what I'm doing here. We're going to add the Post-it tape so that it's all facing one way, and then we're going to press our stencil onto this so that it basically holds it in place directly onto the card base. So you can then fold it over if you have the really, really wide one. It's just for like a little bit of extra security. And then we're going to grab some fun Distress Oxide colors, or any ink colors of your choice. So I decided to go for Squeezed Lemonade, which is our yummylicious yellow one here. And I started out with an idea, and then as I was kind of already into it, I decided we're going to go a different way. Yes. So first I was thinking, oh, you know, we're going to do like a random little pattern here of like doing the little like hexagon things. But then I was like, oh, okay, so I didn't do it like in the right spot here. So I thought I was going to be able to do it so that there would be like one hexagon, one color, and then the next one another color. But then I decided, you know what, we're going to do stripes. So I'm going to kind of go from left, horizontally. No, it's not quite horizontally, is it? It's kind of like horizontal with an angle. I tell you what, just ignore what I'm saying and look at what I'm doing instead, because it seems like I can't find the words to actually explain this. But you see, like we're gonna do it in a line, one color in a line. And then we're going to do the next line in another color. So I know that these two colors are very, very similar, but I wanted them to kind of be like that sort of fresh grass, like spring grass color, you know, whereas just before it's turning really green, it has that sort of slight hint of kind of, yes, twisted citron green, you know. I hope you know what I mean. And then as I was going along here, I was like, well, you know what, it could be fun to kind of like add a little bit of like extra detail just by going in a little bit heavier in some of the areas of the ink blending. So that's what I'm doing here. You can see that I'm kind of like really like adding a lot of color onto my blending brush, and then I'm going really heavy in one place. And well, you'll get to see what I mean as we are gonna peel and reveal this later. But I decided to go in with a little bit more of the yellow as well, just to kind of add a little bit more of a oomph. So on the green especially now, you can kind of see there are like little blobs of extra green, like greener. So now you might be able to see really what I mean, with this, like add a little bit of extra in places. So I thought that would just be like a fun little detail. So on this, you know, because I couldn't just leave it as it was, I'm going to add a little bit of something something. Yes, I am. And the little something something is in the form of some gold splatters. To avoid any mess, we're going to pop our panel into a splatter box. I just use like normal boxes that have stuff like the livid. And then we're going to spritz in a little bit of water into our gold water palette. We're going to get that paintbrush really nice and wet and goldy. And then we're just going to splatter this all over our panel. And I was quite generous with this, which is, you know, kind of my normal go-to. I kind of figured, you know, you can say no to gold splatters. It's just such a nice little extra touch. And it's amazing what it adds. It's such a tiny thing, but it adds such a big thing. But then I thought, you know what? Because again, I can't stop, can I? So I decided to add some black splatters as well, just to kind of like step outside of the box a little bit. Because gold splatters is kind of my go-to. And I don't often add any other or any kind of other element. But I thought, you know what? Maybe a few little splatters of black would be nice. And I think it really, really worked. What do you think? It just, I don't know, adds a little shush to it, doesn't it? So I set this aside and let it dry because I don't want to have any of that smudge because it's such a fabulous background. And then you will notice that this wreath is a lot bigger than an A2 standard size or card size. So you can trim it, or you can, you know, half trim it a little bit. So you don't have to trim all of it. You can actually make a bigger envelope or get a bigger envelope if you really don't want to trim anything. And why would you? Because it is a pretty nice image. So I am going to, I'm going to add some foam tape to the backing of some, this is double-sided tape actually. So the reason I'm doing this is because the foam tape that I have it's not great. Or this one isn't great. It sticks to my scissors. It just makes them really, really sticky, and then it's difficult to cut anything else. But if you add the sticky side down to backing paper, it kind of removes that bit where the stickiness sticks to your scissors. So that is a great little crafting hack. And then I am going to add quite a lot of foam tape to this because I want it to be nice and stable. I don't want it to sag anywhere. I don't want it to like buckle or anything like that. But I haven't gone all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wreath and I'm going to place it back onto my my card or my my background. And then I'm going to see, okay, so I need a little bit more at the bottom there because I am going to trim off the bottom and the top. I'm going to leave the sides so that they can kind of, you know, stick out a little bit. But I needed a little bit more at the top and then a little bit more at the bottom. So we're just going to fill in those gaps so that it doesn't then, you know, we want it to be nice and solid all over. We don't want it to just kind of droop and sag anywhere. So with this then as my guide, I'm going to trim off the bits that are going to stick out. So we're going to pop the foam tape away. We're going to take, we're going to hold this in place. Try to keep it really, really firmly in place. We're going to grab our scissors and then we're going to make a very confident chop. You don't want to be messing around with this. You want to just go chop, chop. Because I think if you're not confident with your chopping and you're not holding everything in place, it's very easy for it to just kind of slip out. And then you'll get a wonky chop. And, you know, it will be a shame to lose it, wouldn't it? Or waste that wreath. But with all of the backing off our wreath, we are now going to place it onto our card base. And because this is sticky stuff, I'm going to line it up at the bottom first, and then we're going to sort of very firmly press it down and make sure that it all sticks everywhere. And I did have to trim it off just a tiny, tiny bit there at the top. And then I forgot to film the rest of the bit, but suffice to say, it included a lot of bling-a-ling, as again per usual. So I used one of my favorite gem or opals, which is the Onyx ones. They are just fantastic. They're black with like an iridescent shimmer to them. I love them. And then I used two of the sentiments, which is actually from the Love Like No Other set. And with that, the card was done. But I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed this card, and I really hope you've enjoyed the EAP. If you want to see more of the EAP, you definitely need to check out the rest of the channel. There will be so many amazing inspiration projects for you. But that is it from me for today. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you soon again. Bye for now.